What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Living Freed channel. My name is Tyler Freed, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about how important it is to diversify in trucking if you plan on starting a business in this industry, or if you just plan on getting into trucking and becoming a driver, diversifying outside of trucking. And if you have a business in trucking, how important it is to also diversify outside of trucking. As you can see here, I have written down trucking diversification. I'm going to go through all of this. And so for those of you that are new to the channel, I appreciate you for being here. Number one, make sure you like the video, sub to the channel, stay tuned till the very end so you can hear everything I'm going to say, because if you're new to trucking or you're looking at getting into it, you need to have a long-term plan for your trucking career. Whether you are just going to be a company driver, an owner operator, you plan on growing a fleet, you need to understand the different forms of diversification. And so, like I said, thank you for being here. And if you're new to the channel too, check out other videos of mine to see what I'm all about as well. I would really appreciate it. But I'm going to get right into it. So, first and foremost, trucking diversification. Now, I'm going to talk about inside of trucking. So that's if you plan on becoming an owner operator, buying your own truck, buying your own truck and trailer, growing a fleet within trucking. How can you diversify within trucking? And before I get into it, why is it important to diversify, period? Well, number one, you don't want to be reliant on your job only, your job for your income. If you are a company driver or you're a solo owner operator who doesn't plan on going past one truck, you need to diversify outside of trucking. You need to make money with your money, make money without you trading your time, trading your labor for that income. If you are a fleet owner, you are able to diversify without trading your labor or time for money. So, moral of the story is you want to get your money to work and have your money make you money, whether that money is in trucks that make revenue without you physically driving, or you take your money out of your from your paycheck or from your settlement if you're a solo owner op and put it into other assets that pay you while you drive. But moral of the story is you do not want to have all your income just coming from driving. That's the moral of the story and the moral of this video. So, trucking diversification inside trucking. All right, we're going to talk about that. So, again, like I said, if you're a company driver or you are a solo owner operator, I'm going to talk about that at the end because that's going to apply to 90% of the people watching this. But if you are a fleet owner or you want to be a fleet owner, you can diversify within trucking. How are some ways you can do that? Well, one, multiple trucks. Okay, multiple trucks. That's the first way. All right. And you could, not only do multiple trucks, multiple trailers, because if you have your own authority and you do trucks and trailers, how can you diversify? You could own multiple trucks. If you own more trailers than trucks, you could, if you have your own authority, you could lease trucks onto your authority and they could pull your trailers for you, or have company trucks and company trailers connected. But multiple trucks, let's say you're leased on, like my company, my fleet is a power only trucking fleet. I use another company's trailers, but I own multiple trucks, and those trucks have drivers in them and they produce revenue without me physically driving. Even if I were still driving, I would have those other trucks producing revenue while I'm at home or while I'm shut down at night. Moral of the story, I have the scale, which is that is diversification. Scale is diversification because I don't have all my money or all my sources of revenue and income coming in from one truck. In that one truck I'm driving, and I'm trading my time for that money. So that, again, that's the goal, is not to say driving's bad or don't do it. No, your primary income is going to be driving, but the goal should be to, have some other income coming in, again, from other sources, and that can be within trucking, like I said. So you can own multiple trucks, multiple trailers, hire company drivers, hire owner operators. Just having the scale in your trucking business is diversification, because there's a difference between having 10 trucks versus one or two. It's a huge difference. That scale helps because maybe the first five drivers are great drivers and they really kill it, and the other five drivers are average, or and a couple of them are below average. That diversification kind of helps out with the revenue and profit, and again, making money without you having to physically trade your time for that income again. So yes, you can diversify within trucking. What's another way? Divisions. Division. So like you could have trucks, some trucks doing dry van, some trucks doing reefer, flatbed, oversized load, car hauling. You can diversify within divisions. You can do that. Let's say you have 20 trucks, and five of them are dry van, five are reefer, five are flatbed, the other five are oversized load. You get the point. You can diversify with division. You could do region, right? Diversification. So you can do like, regional, or all 48 states, or just the western half of the country, eastern half of the country, or you get a dedicated lane, so you get a load from a dedicated route with a customer from Dallas to LA and back. You get the point. That you can diversify. And again, you could have some of your fleet in a regional division and some of your fleet over the road. And, it just, you can have diversification in trucking. You get the point, right? Let's see. Yeah, so region, division, multiple trucks, multiple trailers. You know, you could also start your own brokerage, right? Broker freight yourself. So if you have your own authority, you can do this. Say you get land a big contract and you have some excess freight that your trucks, your fleet can't move. You could open up your own brokerage and broker out that excess freight and become a broker as well. So, here, just, you got to think through these things. And especially because a lot of guys want to start a business. Some guys want to, they want to go past one truck. They want to own a fleet. You got to think about these things if you're going to own a fleet. But, a lot of people think because you're putting all your money in one business means that you can't diversify in your business. And that's a huge mistake to think that way. Because like I said, you got to think through all the different avenues. So what I love about trucking is there's so many things you can do within the industry that make it, in my opinion, worthwhile long term, right? So you get the point with the fleet. That's kind of how you diversify with, owning your own business within trucking. Those are some of the ways to do that. So, and that's what I would highly recommend. Before I move on to, if you are a solo owner operator or company driver, because this last part here, and this is why I always stay tuned till the very end, because this last part again is going to apply to about 90% of the drivers out there. 90% of drivers don't want to build a fleet or do any of that. So this last part, I save it for last so that the majority can watch that and do something with it. And can you become a millionaire with that first part, becoming a fleet owner, building a business and doing all that? Yes, but most people are not going to do that. So can you become a millionaire though with this last part that I'm going to get into? Absolutely you can. 100%. So your company, all right? And say you just want to be company. Well, your main income, at least starting out, is going to be driving. Again, remember at the beginning of this video, I said Your goal should be to earn money without having to trade your time for that money. Okay. So if you're not going to do it within trucking, you need to do it through things like 401k. Okay. If your company has a 401k, Roth, IRA, okay, these are the two things you want to do. Okay. And um, if you don't have a 401k, you can open up a individual brokerage account. Okay. Individual brokerage account, but everybody can do a Roth. All right. So the 401k is an employer sponsored retirement plan, an account. So you can take pre tax dollars from your check and put it into that account. I believe you can max it out at 21k a year. If you're under the age of 50, I don't have that pulled up in front of me. You can look it up what the contribution limit is for the year. But I would recommend your goal. Let's say you're doing really well, and you get into trucking, you get all your endorsements, you have a safe, clean driving record, you get 2 years of experience. You should be able to make it north of 80,000 easily, probably 90 to 100 plus thousand a year. If you make the right moves, you can make some really good money as a company driver. And I always advise get out of debt, have a 6 month emergency fund, but then do things like max out a 401k. Roth IRA, the contribution limit is 7k a year last time I checked. 401k is the employer sponsored, that's pre-tax dollars going in. Roth IRA is after-tax dollars going in. You can put 7,000 a year. So between the two, you're putting 28k a year. Let's say you're making 100k a year, right? That's only 28% of your income. That's it. If you're out of debt, have a 6 month emergency fund, you're making 100,000 a year. You could probably bare minimum save 25%. I definitely think most of you watching this, most of you could max out at least a 401k and a Roth IRA. And if you can do that every single year, go watch my video on it. I have other videos breaking this down, showing you the index funds to invest in and retirement calculator and all that. But if you do that for like 30 years, you will be worth $5 to $10 million. So, and that's just maxing out retirement accounts. You could do the 401k and Roth IRA max contribution and not even invest outside of that. And by the time you hit age 60 or 65, you are going to be living very, very well. In retirement, you will actually have not only a comfortable retirement and be very wealthy yourself, but you will have generational wealth within those accounts. But yeah, that's what I would recommend first. Is if you're just like, look, I don't ever want to own a truck, and then like the individual brokerage account, that's after tax money going into that, and you can invest as much as you want to, and you can take the money out whenever you want to. These two accounts, the 401k and Roth, uh, there's tax benefits, meaning 401k, you can put pre-tax dollars into it. And when you pull it out at retirement, you are taxed at an ordinary income tax rate, but you're deferring paying taxes up front out of your check. The Roth is after tax money going in to that account. And this one right here, if you don't want to do the 401k, you absolutely need to do the Roth IRA. I don't care if you're a fleet owner op, company driver, it doesn't matter. Everybody should be doing that because you can put up to 7k a year into that, both you and your spouse. So you can put 7k, she can put 7k. But that's after tax money going in. And when you pull it out at retirement, all that money, all that growth, the dividends, appreciation and stock price, all that, when you pull it out, it is tax free. 401k is not tax free. You pay ordinary income tax rate, but the Roth is tax free. So that's 7k. If you invest that now and you're 25, by the time you're 65, it's going to be more than 10x that initial 7k, just to give you an example. And that's tax free when you pull it out at retirement. But so a lot of people don't want to defer the 401k taxes. They'd rather do like a Roth or individual brokerage, because in the individual brokerage, say you buy an index fund in the individual brokerage. There's no penalty for pulling out your money early. In both of these accounts, the 401k and Roth IRA, it's 59 and a half before you can pull it out without being penalized. What the government's doing is incentivize, if you want that tax break, they're incentivizing you saving that money till retirement. But the individual brokerage account, you can do whatever you want. You can buy and sell stocks, pull money out, put money in anytime you want. There is no penalties or anything like that. The only thing is if you buy let's say you buy an index or you buy a stock, when you sell the stock, say you bought a stock for $10, sell it for 15. And if you hold that stock for less than a year, you will pay tax on that $5 you made in profit, and that'll be taxed at ordinary income tax rate if you sell it before a year. But if you wait until a year or longer, you'll pay long-term capital gains tax, which is much lower. And typically, most of you will pay about 15%. If you have a really high income, maybe you'll be in that 20% tax bracket, but it's a lot lower than if you were to, earn that same amount of money working your job. So I know I got into all that. Look, consult with a tax professional before you do any of this, by the way. This is all just for education. And, and we're just education and entertainment purposes. That's what this is for. But like I said, these three things are really what you're going to want to do. Okay, if you're going to get into investing in like stocks and retirement plans and everything like that. And what do you invest in within these accounts? I always recommend doing low cost index funds. Go watch my other videos on that. But like an S&P 500 index or a total US stock market or a global stock market index fund that you buy US stocks and international stocks. But what are some other things you can do? Let's say you're like, man, I don't want to get into the stock market. I want to work my job. I don't want to buy a truck or anything. But I want to invest in real estate. Okay. Well, you could save up, use your job. You're making $100K a year, and say you can save that. Say you could save that 28,000 a year working your job. Well, that 28,000, you could save that towards a down payment on a property, right? And and a lot of guys want to do that. They want to save up, buy their first home to live in. They'll live in that home for a couple years, then they'll do a refinance on the house, or they'll just live in that house and pay towards it and save up for another down payment on another property, buy their first rental, and build a portfolio of rental properties. Or there's guys that want to save up and buy homes and flip them. And, there's plenty of things you can do. If you want to get into real estate, I suggest getting very educated about that. You're going to need a lot of capital, and you're going to have a strong business plan. But that is another thing. Real estate investing is a way to, again, make money, diversify out of the truck and make money. So I would say stock market, real estate. Moral of the story is get your money, some of your money that you work so hard for, get some of your money out of your paycheck and into a 401k, Roth IRA, or brokerage account. And in those accounts is where you'll make your investments for the long run. And again, I always recommend, if you're doing stock investing, look into low cost index funds. Check out the book, The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. That'll teach you everything you need to know about index fund investing and saving for retirement and all that. But that's for company drivers. So let's say you're like, no, I want to at least own my own truck and maybe make some more money, which you can do that. You could buy your own truck and just be a solo owner op, and you can do things. So let's say owner op. There's retirement plans for you too. You can do a solo 401k. Okay. Look into these things. I'm not going to spend too much more time on the owner op side, because those of you that have become owner ops, you're smart enough to look into this yourself and understand, the different accounts available. Most of you, if you don't know about them, I suggest you go and research about it. But the solo 401k is the one I would probably do, or the SEP IRA. again, consult with your tax advisor on the solo 401k and SEP IRA, because the way you deduct this from your taxes will depend on your personal situation. But within these accounts, you can make those same investments into things like, low cost index funds and all of that. And of course, you can still do the Roth um, IRA and individual brokerage account. Okay. So these two you can do as a, company or owner operator. This is only for self-employed people. That's it. Solo 401k or SEP IRA. Those are for self-employed people. But within these accounts, you just need to research the different taxes and penalties and the contribution limits and all of that. But they're all very similar, really. They really are. So let's see here. But that's as an owner op. You can do that if you want to get into the stock market. And then again, as an owner op, you can do to end it for that same thing, real estate. You can get into real estate. You can that extra money you're making, you could save that up towards a down payment on a property, or if you want to, really really kill it, you could even save up and pay cash for properties, just whatever. Moral of the story is, like I said at the beginning of this video, diversify in or out of trucking. Okay? Diversify in or out of trucking. You have to do this. You need to learn how to make money, yes, in trucking. You want to get in, get your license, get the experience, specialize if you can. The more specialized you are, if you go into divisions where not everybody chooses to go those routes, generally you'll make more money than just going the generic general routes. But try to make your way and try to make as much money as you can. But when you start making money, you need to have a plan. Do I want to be a company guy, owner op, or a fleet owner? If you know which one you want to do, you need to have a plan to diversify either inside of your trucking business, like I said, or outside of it. If you're a fleet owner, though, at some point, even if you're a fleet owner, to end this, you don't want to have all your money tied up into a trucking business. You may want to take some money out and go buy real estate or stocks or other businesses outside of your industry. You could do that really as a company guy, owner, op, or fleet owner. But you get the point of what I'm doing. These videos, and I'm getting close to the end here. These videos that I do are not to tell anybody what to do. It's not saying, hey, do this. I'm saying, hey, if you're going to get into this industry, have a plan for your career, have a plan for your money, and think through it yourself. All I'm trying to do is get y'all to think about your career in a positive way, like, hey, I can make really good money. And hey, if I'm disciplined and I have the right plan and everything, I could become financially free. A lot of people don't believe it because, one, they never hear anybody talk about how it's possible and show them that it's possible. I show y'all that it's possible all the time. But, or they just don't have the work ethic to do it. A lot of people just don't want to do the work. So, if that's you, then I can't do anything about it. But the people watching that are willing to do the work and willing to learn, it's going to be a grind. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be a grind to go from nothing to building up, getting out of debt, having an emergency fund, and then building up a six-figure portfolio of either stocks or real estate or, owning multiple trucks. All of this is tough. But again, to end, I want y'all to think through your careers like other people do with their careers outside of this industry. Doctors think through their careers, lawyers think through their careers, accountants, engineers. Those people think through their careers. Not most truck drivers don't do that. They're just getting in for a quick fix. Don't let that be you if you are watching this video. Get into trucking, make your money from it, and then diversify in or out of trucking. And I don't care what you do. Okay. And now I'm really going to end with this. I'm really going to end with this because this is the most important thing for everybody, whether you're a doctor, lawyer, truck driver, doesn't matter. Make money while you sleep. See, I repeat things a lot because repetition's the father of learning. And I want to drill it in your head. Make money while you sleep. Make money without having to trade your labor or time or money. Do both. Make money with your time and your labor, and make money with your money so that you don't just rely on the income with your labor. The goal should be to replace your earned income, your labor income, with passive and portfolio income. That's my video for today. God bless. Thank you for watching, and peace out.